What is going on, you stallions and stallionettes? AK-40 Kevin here in the gamer heaven. I have been getting an absolute metric shit ton of questions about what is better, NiceHash Miner, traditional or legacy, or the Quickminer. Now, they are very, very different at their core, how they go about mining and utilizing your home PC, i.e. your gaming PC or laptop, to actually mine. They are both good programs. However, as of recent, I have been using Quickminer, and I'm going to explain why, the pros and cons of each, and kind of walk you guys through the interface of each. Let's get it. Alrighty guys, so first of all, I am recording this video with a ton of natural light coming through my window here. It is slightly whitewashed or overexposed, so I apologize about that. Usually my webcam does a pretty good job of auto-adjusting like aperture and exposure, but it's a little bit much. But that won't take away from the quality content that I'm about to give you guys. I'm about to give you guys some really solid information here, so I've done a ton of extensive research on both of these platforms. Now, quick disclaimer, I have been using the traditional or legacy, the original NiceHash Miner, which is a software program that you install on your PC that does run a bunch of third-party, somewhat untrusted plugins for different algorithms, whether you have a CPU, a GPU, or an ASIC, and whether you're trying to mine Ethereum, Bitcoin, you can download third-party plugins that run through that application, and that will allow you to mine other cryptos. So Quickminer is very, very different from that, and I'm about to break down exactly why and how. So on their actual website, they have this article, what's the difference between NiceHash Miner and Quickminer? Now, it's a very tiny little paragraph here. Thank you for the sub. A very, very tiny article here, but it does give you two further articles right here. So first of all, the traditional miner, which has been around for years. I want to say about 3 years or so. I've been using it for about 2. I have it pinned down here on my quick start bar down here, and it'll take a second to launch here. And I've done tons of tutorials on this. I've gone in depth a couple times with how to use this software here, basically going over all the settings and whatnot. And then you come over here to devices. It has your CPU and GPU. I would not recommend mining with a CPU. CPU mining is not very lucrative at all, and your PC is virtually unusable while mining from your CPU. When I'm mining with my GPU, I can still do basic web browsing. I can have multiple tabs pulled up, watch a YouTube video. No issues whatsoever. Obviously, if I'm going to launch a game or stream or 4K video edit, I come over here, I stop all my devices or stop here. So that way, I'm not mining, because when you're mining, you're utilizing 100% of your GPU to earn you currency, and obviously you're not going to be able to game or do anything that requires your GPU. Now, when you're CPU mining, all of your processes that you're doing, even if you're just trying to browse the web like I'm doing right now, is going to be really glitchy and skippy and stuttery, and not to mention, you're going to make, with a high-end CPU like an i9 or a Threadripper from AMD, you're going to make like 20 or 30 bucks a month, which is not I make that in like 2 or 3 days with my 3080, so that's not good. So this is what the traditional NiceHash Miner looks like. We're gonna close that out. Now Quickminer looks like this. That's it right there. But you can get more settings for it but you can control all those same features from the actual website dashboard over here. So back to the article. The main difference between the miner and the Quickminer is the fact that with the miner, that software also has third-party miners, which are basically plugins, which allow you to, which if you come over here to plugins, you'll see I have a few of them installed. I have Excavator. Now, Excavator is what runs on the Quickminer. That is developed by NiceHash in-house. It's deemed to be safe, or much safer than a lot of these other third-party plugins. I also have NB Miner, XM Rig. A couple of these are blacked out because they're not compatible with my CPU and GPU. That's totally fine. But you can install all these ones here, but they're not really 100% safe because they're from third-party developers, and a lot of times they don't give their credentials to NiceHash. So there's no tracing back where this software came from, or if it's even malicious. So that is rather important if this is your main home PC and you don't want to get bogged down with viruses and stuff. Mining software developed by other developers not associated with NiceHash, thus we cannot guarantee for every line of code that goes out with every release. That is why NiceHash Miner is not signed by NiceHash, and users should use it at their own risk. My boy. My goodness. Now, Quickminer over here is quite a bit safer because, well, it's the newer version of NiceHash. It's basically what the NiceHash platform is kind of moving towards. It says it's in its experimental phase here, but it's been out for, I want to say, about a year now, and they've had a lot of patches and updates that have made it more of a polished product, to the point to where I'm converting over from NiceHash traditional application to the Quickminer, which is mostly controlled from their actual website, from that URL dashboard that I showed you. Now, there are some major benefits here. The first one is the safety of it in comparison to the regular NiceHash miner. It only uses Excavator for GPU mining, which Excavator primarily mines Ethereum through Dagger Hashimoto, which, by the way, is pretty much, no matter what GPU you have, that's most likely going to be the most profitable for you. If you have a 30 series card, 3060, 60 Ti, 3070, 3080, 3090, I have a 3080, you're looking at a pretty fair chunk of change, especially a 3080 or a 3090. I make roughly about $10. That fluctuates $2 to $3 plus or minus every day, but about $10 a day after my electrical costs, which is pretty good. NiceHash Quickminer uses Excavator for graphics card mining and XMRig for CPU mining. Again, I reiterate to you guys, don't CPU mine. It's not very lucrative. It won't earn you that much extra, and your computer's virtually unusable. The only exclusion to that rule that I just put into place there would be is if you have a dedicated mining rig. So not necessarily an ASIC, but like an open chassis mining rig with a bunch of GPUs in it, and obviously you have a CPU in there to run the program, the mining program, and you're not using that for anything else, web browsing, gaming, anything, because it's your dedicated mining rig. Then you can go ahead and squeeze out about $15-20 a month by having your CPU mine as well, but I just don't really find it even worth it. Excavator is an in-house developed miner, 100% free of malware, and XMRig is an open source CPU miner, so that's open source, so that's more exposed to viruses and malware and whatnot than the developed in-house NiceHash program. There are some open source C+ programming libraries used. Code running as NiceHash Quickminer is either developed by NiceHash or from a public repository, which means it's 100% safe. Nothing's 100% safe on the internet, especially public repositories. They're public, which means they are open and exposed to attacks from multiple angles, but not a huge deal. Make sure you have a decent antivirus. Honestly, Windows Defender, it's built into Windows 10, is actually pretty good, and I do recommend that if you are going to be doing crypto mining or any kind of, I'm not going to say illicit or nefarious uses on your PC, but maybe downloading some games or ROMs or emulators that are legal backups of games that you've owned in the past and whatnot, that you run a VPN. The one that I personally have been using for 2 years and strongly recommend is ExpressVPN. It's on my cell phone, tablet, both my PCs, and a little bonus of that is that you can kind of set your location to a different geographic area to unlock libraries for like Netflix and stuff like that, or if you're trying to cheese some easier SBMM lobbies in something like Call of Duty, that in combination with your router, you can actually kind of get easier lobbies, boys. I have a tutorial on that as well. So down there in the description below, I do have a link to ExpressVPN where you can get a month free. Do strongly recommend it. Shameless plug for ExpressVPN. Now here are some legitimate perks or pros of the Quickminer versus the traditional miner. No benchmarks, you start mining immediately. That's not a huge one because you have to benchmark every time you launch the miner, the regular miner, but it takes about a minute. If it took like an hour to run benchmarks, yes, that's an hour that you could be crypto mining. So that's not a huge deal, but it is nice just to be able to press the play button and you're mining. You don't have to worry about benchmarks, so that's cool. No third-party tools for GPU overclocking. This is a awesome feature. So in my opinion, one of the best features of Quickminer versus the traditional miner is the fact that you can overclock directly from here. So manual allows you to use your own separate overclocking software. So for example, MSI Afterburner or something like that, to actually overclock or underclock. So your PC is taking less power consumption, keeping the temperatures down, because obviously you don't want to degrade the long-term longevity of your graphics card. If it is for your actual gaming PC and you're mining at night or while you're at work, you don't want to just fry on you because you're keeping it pinned out at 100% power consumption, 100% load, and 100% temperature threshold all the time. Me personally, I mine about 16 hours a day. I mine while I'm asleep and while I'm at work during the weekday. And then obviously weekday evenings and weekends when I'm using my PC to 4K video edit, stream, or just use some graphically intensive programs where I'm on my computer, then I stop mining. But manual, again, like I mentioned, will let you use your own manual overclocks with a different program. But they have light and medium here. And as you see, when you click on light and medium, it will adjust your power and wattage as well as your memory control load. So how much of your VRAM it's going to utilize. And then also fan speed is usually at 100. You're going to hear your GPU cooling itself while you're mining because, you know, it's using 100% of its load. So you want it to be cooling. But honestly, I wish they had one more setting that maybe was called aggressive or something like that. But I keep it at medium, which is their most ballsy overclock setting. And I've noticed I get about $1.50 in 24-hour mining profitability extra, but my VRAM and my actual GPU core temperatures are about 10 degrees lower, and my power consumption is lower. So it's saving my electrical bill, I'm earning more, and my temps are down. So bravo to NiceHash. Their overclock settings are actually pretty dang good, at least speaking for myself with a 3080. It's going to vary from card to card, but for 3080 owners, just use this medium setting right here. So that is a perk you can overclock directly from overclock or underclock directly from their software. And then this also mentions more about OC Tune or overclock tune. Watchdog is a program that's installed with the Quickminer that takes care of restarting the mining process. So if there's a bug or glitch or it crashes, it'll automatically try and restart and get back to mining. If it can't, because it can foresee that running the program again will cause damage to your system, it'll just shut down NiceHash Miner, and it can actually restart your PC if there's a big issue, which I haven't personally. In 2 years of using traditional miner and about a month of using Quickminer, I haven't experienced any like major issues that have done any damage to my PC, which is good. I know about 2.5 years ago, which is before I started crypto mining, there were some issues with NiceHash Miner, but it's gotten substantially better and safer over time. Windows auto start methods and automatic updates. So this is huge. The automatic updates, that's cool and all, keeping your miner naturally updated or automatically updated, but you could do that with the regular miner. You just go into the settings and tick the box that says auto updates. But right here, auto start methods, instead of having to run a script, like a dot command script on your PC to automatically start mining at a certain time of the day, you can have it set up auto start method. So instead of just starting when your PC starts and mining automatically, you can actually set times, which I will have a separate tutorial how to do that quite easily. So for me, you know, I'd like to mine from like 10 p.m. until 5 p.m. So overnight and while I'm at work automatically, and then just stop. So that way I don't forget, oh, you're mining, and I want to be using my PC. It just shuts off, kind of lets the GPU cool off a little bit and whatnot. That's awesome. And then also no developer fees, which is awesome. When you are running any of those third-party plugins or apps that I showed you, a lot of those have developer fees, which will not be disclosed to you. But when you are mining, you're actually losing a percentage of what you're earning due to dev fees, which is ridiculous. And then they have an article right here, which I'm going to breeze over some of the main differences, which we've kind of already covered, between the NiceHash Miner and the NiceHash Quickminer. For NiceHash Miner to fully work, it relies on third-party plugins. In most cases, these are programs of unverified and unknown origins. The real names, we do not know the names of the authors of the programs, and no company stands behind the software. Why developers of these programs keep their identity so private is unknown to us, because a lot of people that develop mining software, mining is still kind of frowned upon by general society and even the crypto community. So people that like to buy and hold and trade, day and swing trade on CoinBase and stuff like that, still see mining as a dirty thing. So a lot of mining software developers don't really want their names out there because they would be getting a bunch of hate mail and shit. Not to mention the gaming community, which a lot of my audience, my viewership here are avid gamers, obviously, fucking hate miners. That's why I feel a little guilty when I do these mining tutorials, but not really, because I didn't buy my PC for the sole purpose of mining. I bought it to game with, stream with, 4K video edit for the channel, but when I'm not using it, I'm gonna mine with it and get it to pay for itself over time. So again, gamers would be sending a ton of hate mail, probably death threats as well, to the developers of these mining software programs. But basically this entire paragraph is just explaining that it's safer to use Quickminer because it's only using their excavator. which is developed in-house by NiceHash. And it says right here, another lucky factor is that the speeds of Excavator reaches, the speed that Excavator reaches in Dagger Hashimoto, which is an Ethereum mining algorithm, that's primarily what you're going to be using because it is the most lucrative right now, are completely comparable to other miners that have developer fees. When you calculate a developer fee, Excavator can be, in most cases, even more profitable than third-party miners, and it is. I have done a ton of research on this, a ton, because obviously, I want to make sure I'm getting the most bang for buck when I mine with this sucker. If I'm already going to be using up my electrical costs and causing, you know, overtime heat damage and shit to my GPU, which not really because it's well cooled, but if I'm going to be doing that anyway, I want to make sure I'm actually getting paid the most that I possibly can for the mining I'm already doing. So, I have to say, Quickminer is very, very lucrative. The regular miner, I was earning roughly about between $8 and $9 a day. Using Quickminer with that medium overclock on it, I am earning about $10. So that's more. And there's 0 developer fees. As were if the regular miner were to switch algorithms on me, because it does that, it just puts it on autopilot, so it'll automatically start mining what's most profitable. It might go to a plugin, a third-party app that has developer fees, and then I'm losing 2 to 3% of my income to developer fees that aren't even disclosed right to my face, which is kind of shitty. And then they talk about the simplicity of Quickminer. Using Excavator is not so simple. If you were to use the actual Excavator program and you're having to adjust parameters yourself, you need to configure command files and prepare your machine to work properly. That's why we created another product called NiceHash Quickminer, which does all the hard and tricky configurations automatically. Hence, you click a button and don't have to worry about the tech stuff, which in my opinion is probably the biggest benefit to using either NiceHash regular miner or Quickminer, is the fact that it's basically the Apple iPhone of the mining world. It is so simple and user-friendly that anybody with a gaming computer with a decent GPU in it can literally just press play on it. It does all the optimization, picking what algorithm to use, what to mine, what power settings. It does all that for you. And then while you're at work, school, or sleeping, it's earning you money. And eventually you're paying for your device. So what is the verdict here? I've covered basically the nitty-gritty squeeze-a-titty facts about these, but which one is better? Now, I have used both extensively, the regular miner, and then about the last week or the last couple of weeks I've been using Quickminer. But I will say the only real benefit to using the traditional legacy miner software is the fact that you can manually install plugins. So if you wanted to mine more than just Ethereum and Bitcoin, which generally are the most profitable for you anyway, but you wanted to pick and choose what you want to mine, you could do that. But NiceHash already automatically picks what's most lucrative for your equipment. It reads your GPU, CPU, and your power, your electrical costs in your geographic area, and then picks what's most profitable for you to mine. So I don't even know why you'd want to do that anyway, but if you did, you could do that. The second reason I could think of is that NiceHash traditional miner's been around for like 3 years, and Quickminer's a new experimental prototype beta software, so I guess you could say there's been more time to massage out bugs and glitches and provide support updates and shit. But I haven't noticed any issues with Quickminer yet, and the fact that it's earning me more money doing the same process is pretty sick. That's pretty much all I can find for the regular legacy miner. Now, Quickminer, again, it's safer, it's easier to use even further than the regular miner. It's more profitable, which is, that right there is a selling factor. It's earning me $1.50 more a day with having my electrical costs and my GPU temps lower. So, and my, all that shit. So to me, that right there, that's all I needed to hear right there. It earns me more doing less potential damage to my GPU and costing me less in my electrical costs. Can't speak today, but that right there is a selling factor for me to transition over to Quickminer. So hopefully I didn't ramble on or jaw jack or repeat any information or anything like that. There is quite a bit to these two different software programs, but at their core, they're doing the same thing. They're a very easy to use, user-friendly way to use your PC to crypto mine when you're not using it. But how they go about them is different and better with Quickminer because it's using their in-house software that's a little bit safer and already uses the best program you're going to use anyway, which is Excavator, Dagger Hashimoto, mining Ethereum. That's the most lucrative right now. So my verdict, I would say use the Quickminer. I personally, myself, can't think of a legit reason why you would want to use the legacy miner. That's just me personally. Now, I am going to do a video in about 1 month showing you guys a 30-day comparison of my earnings and overall temperatures using traditional legacy miner, and the same thing with my earnings and my overall temperatures with the Quickminer. So I can show you guys a real world, real user 3080 experience using Quickminer and traditional legacy miner. I mean, spoiler alert, I'm pretty sure the Quickminer is going to be more beneficial, but I don't know yet. We don't know, boys. We're going to see. If this video was beneficial for you guys, it was informative and entertaining, liking the video helps it to get seen by more people, so this information can reach and assist them as well. Subscribe for more content like this. I do a lot of tutorials around crypto mining, as well as news in the gaming community and industry, and tutorials helping you guys get set up streaming and YouTubing. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.